Hello and welcome to another episode of Richard Matheson is Better Than You. Now, this week I have a book called 100 Past Reason, and it is the only book I've read by Richard Matheson which wasn't a horror, sci-fi, or western. It's actually a thriller. I'm not sure when it was actually written, but it says copyright 2002 in the book I have, but it could be a reprint. This book is about a writer who goes on a hiking trip with a friend of a friend in order to research a book. Now, he barely really knows the other guy he's hiking with. He's a friend of a friend, so it's kind of awkward being in the woods alone with him. And then he starts to slowly notice that the other guy is jealous of him and his career as a writer. And the other guy keeps making small jabs at him about how much he sucks at hiking and, you know, how much better the other guy is than he is. And we've all probably been in a situation like that where you have to be polite to someone you know who's a real asshole, and you're put into a situation where you're not allowed to actually speak your mind because you're too polite. And in this case, they're in the California woods in the middle of nowhere, and the guy's making little small jabs at him about how he sucks at hiking and he's kind of overweight, and he's just being slowly bullied until he kind of realizes that his hiking partner might not be all there. And in the book he realizes that he's stuck with the guy for the next 3 days, and the guy is slowly going insane in front of him. Now, I'm not really a fan of thrillers when it comes to novels, but I make a definite exception for this book. It'll actually just piss you off reading it, but you'll definitely enjoy reading it. The hiking aspect of this book reminded me of this time that me and my girlfriend went hiking with her brother. And, you know, it wasn't like this story, but we went hiking up this mountain, hill, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, he was already pretty much halfway to the top while we were still kind of struggling. And it seemed like he was trying to compete with the both of us instead of just have fun. And that's what it felt like when I read about this character and what he deals with this guy on the hiking trip. And, you know, they're in the middle of nowhere, so by the time the guy does kind of go insane, there's really nothing the main character can do about it except, you know, use his own wits and try to escape the situation. And he really doesn't know anything about backpacking or hiking or anything like that, and he's in the middle of the wilderness by himself, and he's trying to escape this lunatic. So I don't want to give anything away, but this is a really great book, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes Richard Matheson. This might seem like a simple story. It is kind of a simple story, but the way it's written is really great. There's a lot of suspense, and mostly when you're reading it, for me anyway, it just made me mad reading it because this guy just insults the main character the whole time, and talks about, you know, how shitty he is and how overweight he is. And I've had stuff like that happen to me personally. Well, not to this degree, but, you know, similar things happen where you encounter someone who seriously thinks they're better than you, and it can enrage you just reading pages in this story. If you haven't read anything by Richard Matheson, though, I would definitely recommend one of his horror short story anthologies before you go on reading any of his actual novels, because his short stories are pretty much the basis of a lot of what he writes, and his greatest work is in his short stories, so I definitely recommend that. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.